Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not.
Oh, wow. I'm speechless.
Yeah. You got to have a little fun in there. You got to add, a little
Sure.
spice to it, right?
Little sound effects, the
Right.
pistol.
Right. Little gunshot here or there, just for the realness. But, seriously, I mean, because a lot of times when you think about people going to clubs, you think about they're dark, they're dank, they're loud, people are drunk, you know, they're smoky, they're just not really places that you feel like, when you're maybe really, really young, I guess that's exciting because it's sort of dangerous,
Sure.
but, I always thought of clubs as a place where, God would show up and strike you down for for walking in there,
Right.
and then you never know what you're going to come out with, but it's really difficult, I think, for young socials this goes around the world. So I think some people have probably more available singles in their town than others. A place like New York would have more than perhaps. Chicago, LA. But, let's talk really specifically about, don'ts, things that women do, or that men do that they absolutely shouldn't do when it comes to, meeting the opposite gender.
Now, is this in general or online?
We can do both. I mean, I think we have enough time to be able to cover both in a little bit of detail.
Okay. Okay. So online, you have to be, again, like I said before, make sure if you're going to meet this person, you've shared a few emails or messages, but make sure you let someone that you trust know where you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one.
Okay.
Nowadays, it's so much easier because you can Google everyone and get a background check.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Wow.
You have to,
okay.
Oh, yeah. It's
so somebody could type in my name and then okay.
Your whole world would
pop right up. Okay. So they'd know about this show.
Probably,
Which,
yes. Yes.
Okay. Got you. So they would know I do this show. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And don't meet them, ladies. I wouldn't go to a gentleman's home on the first date. Always keep it public in the beginning and you get a feel and go with your gut. If he's a charmer and he looks good and everything just seems perfect, but you have this weird feeling in your gut, go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the gut feeling, don't meet them in private. Always let someone know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And background checks. Very, very, very important. And I guess when you're, dating someone that you met in person, that's a little different.
Okay.
I guess it's just.
How would you characterize that as different?
Well, depending on where you met, hopefully it's at a place where you both had that in common.
Ah, okay.
So I'm just, my whole thing is I don't want these women to be with some crazy person that, something terrible could happen. I know that sounds dark.
Sure. So guys, I mean, because a lot of guys listen to the show, they need to know that it's probably better to be public, be a little bit more transparent, be honest. And, if you have certain intentions, it's probably better to get those out and, just say the truth and right. Let it be pro or con. If she's not into that, then at least you've said what you had to say. But if you are not being honest, and that can be picked up as being deceptive. Is that an accurate statement?
I would say so, but I would also add to that, one experience I had. I went out with this gentleman, and we went to a Salvadorian restaurant, and the food was excellent, and he was planning our wedding. This was our first date.
Oh, that's scary.
And he said he wanted to marry me, and he was telling me who the people he wanted to invite. And,
wow.
And he was picking out the china. I kid you not. This was a nightmare. So, guys, you don't want to make yourself seem like you're desperate, because the woman will run. Now, don't be afraid to show that you're interested. You can't be all calm, all cool and distant, because then we're going to think, okay, well, he's not interested in me, and she'll move on. let her know, like, again, going back to my personal experiences, because that's just what I can draw on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When you're on a first date and it's someone you actually enjoy their company, and they'll say, when can I see you again?
Mm-hmm.
That's fine to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act interested if you're not. It's not fair. Just don't pretend you're interested and say, yeah, I'll give you a call. And then you never call, because some women, they'll sit around and they'll wait for that call, and that's not right.
Wow.
So
yeah.
don't play with someone's emotions.
Yeah, and then they'll show up to your work and
bam,
right.
But
right.
Yeah, so it's just be sincere. Be sincere. If you don't feel it's going to go anywhere, let them know.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair to the both of you.
Right. Are there ways, what do you think would be appropriate first dates that are not too, not too intense, that give, besides, like after you've crossed the coffee stage where, the conversation's good. Yeah. And the guy puts himself out there, says, hey, can I see you again? Just a note, ladies, if you don't get asked that on the first date, please understand that means he's not interested. Just go with that. I mean, seriously.
Right. And one more thing that I can't stress this more.
Okay.
If a guy is not into you, don't pursue him. I'll be doing a podcast on that.
Okay.
To let women know how he's not, if he's not into you. Don't pursue
I'm curious. Now you got me curious. Wait, hold on. Now you can't just gloss over the. Well, you can definitely tell. I mean, I'm just curious how a woman,
There's certain things.
Okay, like give me an example. I want to see if guys agree with that. I don't know. I mean, you sound like you know something or something. Let's hear what, give an example. Just one. I won't ruin your whole show, but we'll cross plug it, What is it that would be an example?
Well, it's like I said, it's not my first rodeo. So
okay, all right, fair enough.
Like you said, that's like the main thing. If after your first date he doesn't inquire about another one, that's number one. He's not interested.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Don't pursue it. Now, if you're having dinner or whatever, look at his body language. Study his body language.
Okay.
Watch is he making eye contact? Is he looking at other women in the room? Is he fidgety? Is he on his phone? Those are all signs that he doesn't want to be there, and he's probably not going to ask you out again. And if that's the case, he's not the one for you, and you're not the one for him. So you move on. Don't pursue someone who doesn't want you.
Okay.
And that for both sides.
Now, with women, men to women, I want to, obviously women to men, because men are typically the pursuers. But how do men, because a lot of times just doesn't persistence pay off, or no, not so much?
If she's interested, it is.
Well, I mean, how do you know if you're not persistent? See, this is the conundrum. You never really know. How do you know?
She should let you know. The woman will let you know she's interested.
So right now what you're saying is that women have to take some responsibility in communicating effectively that they are interested and would like to have the opportunity to to hang out again.
But not in a way that is pushy or seems needy, or kind of let him take the lead.
Okay.
I'm very old school in that and traditional. If he is interested, let him take the lead, but let him know. Like if he'll say, hey, I'd like to see you again. So that's great, or just kind of, a guy needs to know if he's interested. He needs to know if you're interested back.
Right.
And if you're not, again, just let him know.
Right.
In a kind way. I just can't stress kindness more.
I'd like to talk about your kindness for just a moment, actually. I'm going to relate this because I think everybody has had a crash and burn moment in their life. I think everybody has, where, you set out and you have everything planned in your head and you're ready to roll with it. And then you get there and it just, you get shot down and it just doesn't work out. I think, I'd like to relate a story which I think is very, very interesting. I knew Trish when I was about 14. So, you know, she was one of the first women I actually saw and thought, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. You know, God created women. And at that point I thought, wow, this is really great. The only thing I underestimated was her height, because at the time when I was 14, I wasn't quite as tall as I am now. And she, of course, already was, or nearly fully grown. So the challenge is that I didn't really estimate the height differential. And so when I made my way across to try to talk to her, putting all of my masculine, you know, bravado together, I'm going to go on ahead and talk to this woman. I got over and I realized, man, I think she's got me dwarfed by like 5 inches or something like that. I mean, it was really, and she didn't have the answer in the way that I had played it out in my head. And that's another challenge, because you really don't know what's going to come out of a woman's mouth when you start talking to them. So don't go into it with the idea of what she's going to say, because you don't know. You just have to ask and try to go from there. Guys who are super confident, which I think I exhibited some confidence till I realized the height differential, which threw me off. But then I was already standing there. And I think I uttered some mumbo jumbo that didn't come out very good. And but what I did realize was that she was kind and left my dignity intact. And that's one thing that I'd like to say, ladies, is a really, really important point, because I remembered it. So from age 14 to blah, 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 I remembered about this particular experience, and it shaped every other experience of treating women with decency and respect, because I expected that they were going to treat me with decency and respect. So I didn't see them as the enemy or as prey to be conquered. I saw them as human beings who were kind and decent. And that was something that I thought was very interesting. And ladies, you know, this is just from a guy's perspective. You know, a guy can tell if you're not interested, even if you are kind to them. You know, you can definitely, you know, just facial expressions alone, you know, will let somebody know if you are or are not interested. But I don't think you have to be the fact that a guy gets his moxie up and decides to approach you, that you have to be somehow, you know, mean and shooting him down. That doesn't make you look better in his eyes, and it doesn't make women in general look better in the eyes of guys. In my humble opinion, I think shooting somebody down says more about you than it does about them. But it doesn't feel very good. And I thank you that when I was a early teen, that my dignity was left intact while approaching you, which actually you know, that was one of the interesting, as our paths crossed again 10 years later. I shared that story. I don't even know if you even recall that story, is my best recollection. Do you even remember that story?
No, when you sent me the Facebook message thanking me, I thought, wow, I'm so glad I was kind.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, you never know how things will turn out. And
that's true, because I always told my children, you know, always be kind.
Yeah.
Always be kind.
Yeah.
You don't know how that's going to affect a person's life.
Right.
Shoot them down, or so and then shortly you had sent me that message, and I thought, wow, I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad it was a positive experience for you.
Yeah, it was a very positive experience. I think a lot of times, negativity is seen as a more powerful position to be in, and you're seeking after me, and I've got dozens of people who are interested, and therefore I'll just, treat you any old way, because that makes me more desirable. But I disagree. I disagree with that. I don't know that necessarily makes the woman seem more desirable. I know it doesn't make, in my humble opinion, I don't think treating a woman poorly necessarily makes a man more desirable. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I guess there are some people who may have differing opinions on that. We'd love to hear your opinions. And feel free to share them on our Facebook page. Just search Conversations from the Cave and land on our Facebook page, and feel free to share your comments there. You can also land on our Spreaker.com page. Just search again, Conversations from the Cave. or Provox Media Group. This is a production of the Provox Media Group. We thank them for allowing us this time each and every week.